So today it is 65 degrees and a little bit of a misty rain here and there. The crazy thing is that as soon as it hits 80 degrees, even if it's raining, we will get suspended for the heat because of this humidity law that they passed a few years ago, which was not based on any science, not really good for horses. At times it's a reasonable temperature to go in, but other times it makes absolutely no sense to go in because of the heat when it's not actually hot. I spoke about that a lot in another video. But anyway, we do go in when it's 80 degrees and the humidity level is added to that 80 degrees or above number, and it is a sum of 150 or more. It's not actually how you calculate a heat index, although they call it that. That is not an equine heat index thing. That's not a thing. We also don't work when it's above 89 degrees. So we actually had about a week off recently, almost a whole week. Next week, we're probably also going to have most of that off. Our horses will have to be hand walked. It's not really as great exercise as they get being on the carriage, but that's the law. And they vacation on pastures, but unless it's going to be, consistently months straight of a temperature we can't work in, which doesn't happen. It's usually on and off, back and forth, very unpredictable. We supplement whatever, pasture time they need with either getting them out in the morning hours on the carriage or late at night, or being hand walked. Or occasionally you get a day like today in where hopefully it doesn't hit 80 degrees, but it is possible. Anyway, I have spoken at length about our suspensions with the heat a few times, but the other day I was at the park and we got the heat suspension text, and so all the drivers started to get ready to go in, and someone asked them to take a carriage ride, and he said, "Oh, sorry, we're getting sent in, we're suspended." Now, this girl overheard and she was like, "Oh, the poor horses." Why would it be poor horse? The fact that we are regulated, and the fact that we are not going to work when it's hot, and the fact that we are going in. That's a good thing, not poor horse. That's, oh, good, nice. But so then I started thinking, maybe people think that this terminology is like when you do something wrong, like say you're suspended from school, like that means you did something wrong and you're being punished. That's not what suspensions are for us. That just means that's the temperature we can't operate in, and therefore there is a process to suspend the operations. It's not that we're suspended, we did something wrong for being here. Now that process includes time to get back to the stable and finish up rides in progress. You get 30 minutes to finish a ride in progress. A lot of times people misunderstand that the second you get the text, you don't just kick the customer out in the middle of the park, because you actually have to finish that route to even get out of the park yourself and get back to the stable. It doesn't make any sense. That's not what we do. And for some reason, people forget that horses do not teleport. So no, we don't just disappear on the spot. Luckily, horses don't melt. If it is hot out, they are fine. There is a process and a way to do this. Maybe if our regulation was that we don't work at 100 degrees, it could be a problem getting back to the stable in that heat. It is not at our cutoff at 90 or 80 with the humidity. We have the lowest temperature restrictions all over out of anywhere in the country for carriage horses, and it's always worked for us. These laws went into place, well, except the humidity one. In 1989, we haven't had a single horse have an issue due to heat. Since those laws went into effect, probably earlier than then as well. But when we get that text, it basically just means that the process has started and we can finish up and get back to the stable. And people will sometimes think that as soon as that text goes out, we're not supposed to be here, and that's not true. That doesn't make sense. New York class will send out a tweet when we get a suspension and tell everyone to look out for horses and report them if they see them out there the second that text goes out. And those people think that they're it's somehow enforcing the law for us, that they need to do that. We don't have 5 agencies overseeing us, or we've ever not gone in during a suspension. I mean, if you're ever here when it happens, you just be like, oh wow, because all of a sudden 60 horse carriages just start going back to the stable. And it's quite a sight. But because those tweets go out, this often misleads people into thinking that there is some type of wrongdoing by seeing horses out here after that point. Now, New York class will often send out text tweets, or on X or whatever it's called, posts now or whatever. They will send these messages out right before temperatures reach the point where we can't work. And they'll be like, it's too hot, the horses shouldn't be working, they're not suspended. And then usually within a few minutes or so, or maybe an hour or whatever, like they will decide that the temperature is now high enough and we get sent in. But you'll notice that they never send out a tweet of when we get those suspensions if they have recently said the horses were not suspended. So that's pretty misleading. They do that all the time. Another thing they never do is send out the message when our suspensions lift. So sometimes the suspension is only a couple hours and then the temperature drops so we can go back to work. And they will not tell anyone that. So people are still under the impression that the horses are still suspended and the temperature didn't drop, and then start giving us crap for that. So they are a very disingenuous group, and the reason that they do these things is because they don't actually really have any good evidence, any good proof to support doing away with our industry. But as I've gone into in other videos, they are headed by a real estate developer, and they've been after our carriage horse stable properties for quite a while. No one really wanted to ban carriage horses, so they could not get the support they needed, and now they do absolutely anything they can to try to insinuate wrongdoing, because there just really isn't any. If they just would tell the truth, it would be like, wait, so nothing's wrong, why should we do away with it? And when they tweet these messages that, you know, we're suspended, and go take pictures and videos of these drivers violating suspensions when they're not actually in violation of them, that puts pressure on a driver to be like, well, I don't want to be on their video, even if it's not true. I don't want that spread all around. So they start rushing back to the stable. They feel this pressure to get back. That's not good. You're supposed to slowly walk your horse back. I refuse to give in to that. I'm like, you know what, I did nothing wrong, put my video everywhere, I don't care. But other people are not comfortable with that. And I won't do that, I'll walk my horse back. But other people feel like, I better rush back. Now, New York class has people pushing their horse to get back to the stable, which is not great for that horse. It's not the end of the world, it's not abuse, but it's like, you're not going above and beyond to do like all the little extra best things you can for your horse because of this animal rights pressure. So animal rights activists are actually doing things that is not the best for horses. They are pushing drivers to not do the best things for their horses. Some drivers, anyway. I encourage everyone as much as they can to just, you know, ignore these people. Just, you know, do the right thing for your horse, even if they are making it difficult to. But yeah, a lot of people are not comfortable being plastered all over the internet when they've done nothing wrong. It has happened to me. I've gone into depth about, you know, how I've actually done nothing wrong, shown the proof, and yet my videos go out there and there are like thousands of like death threats and things on those videos. Some people don't like that. Some people can't handle that, and that's not something we should have to handle. But unfortunately, that does come along with this job because people are stupid. And in the training manual to become a carriage driver, there's actually a section called Dealing with Hostile People, which is about the people that are going to shout animal abuser at you. The health department of New York City was like, we better put in a way that drivers can professionally respond to this type of thing, because it's going to go on because people are ignorant. That's actually in there. But yeah, I'm just making another video yet again about the heat and about our laws and all of that, even though I have a few, just because I feel like people just forget, and I need to keep saying it. There'll be someone here complaining about my horse, saying it's too hot for the horse, with a dog on a leash and the dog's paws are burning on the ground because that dog doesn't have shoes on, and my horse is wearing shoes on asphalt, which was put down for horses because it came out before cars came out. So, you know, you have people that are just like not thinking at all and being really hypocritical out here. But anyway, like I said, we did lose a lot of work days, so it does become a little tough. I actually had an Amazon Fresh delivery. I get about 8 bags of carrots a week, and they only sent me 1 bag of carrots, and I was like, oh no, what are we gonna do? But fortunately I didn't go through as many carrots because we didn't work as much, so didn't have to let my horses down, let them know we only got 1 bag delivered. But let's see how today goes. It's been first day back at work in a little while after all these heat suspensions, and maybe we'll get through today unless it heats up and it's 80. Then we will be going in. Me and my horse are in the shade. He's got no sweat on it. It's 75 degrees out, and some lady just went by and was like, the poor horse, he's so hot. What, like, what is wrong with people?